Okay, with that in mind, we'll open the meeting of the Charlton Water and Sewer Commission. Today is January 7th, 2026. It is 6:30 PM. And I'll first ask if there's anybody here for public forum. Not hearing anyone, I'll pass the mic here to Robert to come up with both the pass the approvals and the abatements and the warrants as necessary. Go ahead, Robert.
I make a motion to accept the minutes dated December 3rd, 2025 as written.
I second.
Okay. Any discussion on them? Hearing none, Cyril, I'll ask for a vote.
Mr. Gagner,
Aye.
Mr. Groton,
Aye.
Mr. Thomas Coleman,
Aye.
Mr. Robert Coleman.
Aye.
And you have more for us, Robert.
The accepting warrants, and I'm just wondering what aggregate to $7,428.30 on the schedule of bills payable means. So there are $2 numbers. I'm wondering what's going on here.
What form was that on?
The schedule of bills payable, because it has the 26,600.
All right, that's my error. I can fix that.
I'd like to bring something up that should be on the warrants list. So every year Veolia does what's referred to as a consumer price index adjustment of their fee. And I've got a couple of discrepancies with their calculations versus their approval sheet. And it's not a huge amount. Over the course of a year, it's $2,200, but it's still a discrepancy.
That we're overpaying?
They're overcharging versus the sheet that they all signed off and sent us for approval. So that all of the CFOs and stuff and the VP and the project manager have to sign off on the CPI increase every year. They all signed off on a 3.9% increase. But
It should be 3.5, right?
well, that was what we were originally given. So that's what we based our budget off of, was 3.5. But their official number is 3.9. But then they give us a breakdown, which they're supposed to supply us how they come to that figure. And their breakdown spells out it's 4.21%. And when I do all the math on the current invoices, it comes out to 4.21%. So they have a paper they signed saying our increase is 3.9, but our bills are reflecting 4.21. So I think we have a discrepancy in their accounting department for all of the adjustments that they're trying to charge us this month. So there was some fees called retro fees because they didn't get their paperwork done in time. And this doesn't reflect at all on the management of the facility. This is in their finance department where they're making the error. But
is this on this schedule?
in this warrant packet,
Yeah.
there's an invoice in there with retro adjustments for the past 2 months.
No, Vinny, they didn't get this one because we were working on it.
Oh, good. All right. Cancel that. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
No, this is why we have meetings. We
You
need
were
to
supposed to
communicate.
get it.
Yeah, because we were working on it, waiting
Okay,
for the
good.
new one.
Yeah, I broke down every invoice I can find. And there is a discrepancy in what they said our adjustment was going to be and what they actually provided us.
Yeah. So this one has a dozen Veolia water bills for sludge pumps and fans and pump stations. Are those at issue, Vinny?
None of those should have issue. Those are kind of straight across. Vendor charges them and they just pass the bill straight through, which is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
This is on the monthly invoice. And this month, the monthly invoice had extra attachments. It had retro fees for previous months. I don't know how well you guys will see it, but it was a big list. And it was $74,000, which is not that much more than the average monthly invoice, but there's just a accounting error in their math. And if you guys would like to come down and I can show you how I processed it all to come up with those numbers, maybe I'm wrong, probably not, but I could be.
I would like to see it. I'd like
Yeah,
to
I
see
can
that.
show you all the breakdowns on
Yeah,
that.
me too.
Because that's also going to affect the
Sorry about
budget.
railroading you guys' agenda here.
So would you like to approve the budget with that one exception? So
No.
at least the rest can be approved. And we'll hold this out till, I don't know, the next month, I guess, when we get a finality on the exact cost.
So to approve what, Paul?
The budget, Robert hasn't given it to us yet, but I thought this was one item in the budget that we didn't want to approve of everything, with the exception of this one item.
No, Paul, we're still on the warrants with Rob, but Vinny had brought this up due to the.
Yeah, I know,
But yeah, Paul, so I think the issue that Vinny's bringing up isn't on the warrant that we have. It'll be on a future
Right, it
warrant.
was supposed to be on this one, and I didn't realize it was pulled from it. I'm sorry for that.
Okay,
So who tells them that it's, that there's a mistake in it?
Typically, we would ask Dennis to go back and have them dig into it a little deeper and see where the discrepancy lies.
Okay,
And Robert, I will change the aggregate to reflect the 26,179.91 before you guys all come in and sign it.
Okay,
so that's what should have been up on that line.
Yes.
Okay, good catch, Bob.
okay, get more
So
discussion
somebody-
on this.
Somebody has to make a second.
Second,
That was you, Tom?
that was me.
Okay.
wait. So is the 26,679.91 before or after we make the change?
That is the corrected amount, which should have reflected up at the top. And I will
Okay.
fix that before you come in and sign it tomorrow morning.
Okay,
The one I have is 26,179.91.
Yes, yes, that's
Okay.
what it is. Is that the one you have, Rob?
I thought it was 26,679.
Let me see.
No, it's 26,179.91. I sent another one out, an updated one.
26,179.
Hmm.
So is 26,179 the right one?
Okay,
Yes.
all right, got it.
okay, I
You got it?
also have
Yeah.
679.
Okay,
So I introduce a motion. I make a motion to accept warrants totaling $26,179.91.
And a second on
Second.
that, please? Okay.
second,
Okay, barring any further discussion, we can get a vote, Cheryl.
Mr. Gagner,
Aye.
Mr. Groton,
Aye.
Mr. Thomas Coleman,
aye.
Mr. Robert Coleman.
Aye.
Robert, you have anything else for us?
Oh,
Viola
were
is
there
up next.
cedar abatements?
No, there isn't any yet. It'll be probably the next
Okay.
meeting.
Like I thought. Good.
If not, then I think Dennis will be up with the monthly operating report.
Yes, sir. So I have two because I missed the last meeting, so I have November and December. November was surprisingly a quiet month. There wasn't really anything that stood out to pass on besides normal operations. We had 3 house calls. One of them needed an upgrade on Park Road, a full upgrade. That was a very old system. So we had to fully upgrade it with the new panel and everything else. The sludge trucks were normal numbers, 6 totes of caustic. That's about normal for us. Like I said, November was pretty quiet. As far as yes,
Those 6 loads of sludge that are hauled to Cranston, is that Veolia's?
4. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, I must have skipped down to another one.
yeah,
All the sludge is being held to Veolia's plant in Cranston. Is that where it's going?
yes, correct. And then we ordered polymer because we were low. So we restocked for polymer. That should be good for quite a while. That's November. December was a little more active. We can start off with one of our operators. So we have two full-time operators now. One of them who's only been there for 90 days just got his grade 4. And Zach, which many of you have probably met, he's working on his grade 4 and he's going back next week. I expect him to get it. He's pretty sharp. So we'll have two well-qualified operators, and as soon as we're done with those, I'm gonna push them to start going for their 6 right after that. So we'll be well qualified. Skipping up to compliance. So I didn't have all the, actually I had it somewhere, but TSS we struggled with in December. So the beginning of September we had an RBC go down. RBC 1 broke the chain, and we believed that it had some broken media inside. Just recently, we kind of did some studying and we kind of figured out that with that RBC, just that one being, number one being the only one that went down, we started washing out of the plant. So, we've had several engineered folks suggest that we take down a couple RBCs to make the plant more efficient and save some power and whatnot. But I believe that this shows that we cannot shut down any RBCs for our treatment because it was almost immediate. As soon as that RBC went down, within a day or two, we started washing out of the plant. It's every day just after the morning rush. So around 10 or 11, it just pops up and starts floating out. And we've traced back everything we can, and I believe we're just not getting enough treatment, enough breakdown, enough removal out of the RBCs before it goes out to the secondaries, and it ends up floating out past COMAG. And we've given COMAG special attention. We've put in extra magnetite to see if it was just something that we were maybe doing in the COMAG system, but it's all running as normal. And it's doing everything it can. And I remember Eric, you had mentioned possibly if we could take the COMAG down for the winter. I wouldn't suggest that at this point.
Yeah, so the TSS numbers here that are in this thing it says effluent 53, 42, 24, and then 5. Those are the 4 for December.
Yeah.
That's after the COMAG system?
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not good. But we just had the COMAG, the RBC fixed today. We had a company come in, do the chain. We really didn't see any broken media. Vinny had talked about earlier that what'd you call it? The scooper? Something in there.
Oh, there's a dosing bucket.
Yeah.
And I had one break off in RBC 2, and RBCs 1 and 2 are the only ones that have dosing buckets. So when I had it break, I just cut it off, and that RBC seemed to perform fine after we did that. So I said he's probably got an issue with that thing flopping around in there.
So that's coming probably next. So we're gonna turn it on tomorrow morning, and get it back and running fully. And if it's not flopping around, then great. If it's not, we'll take it down quickly and rip that out of there and get it going again. I'm telling you this because like you said, they've suggested about shutting RBCs down, and I really believe that you can't now, just based off of this. So once we fix it, we'll give it a few days till it's fully running, and if we stop washing out, we'll have our answer for sure.
And
Unfortunately,
who's suggesting shut down the RBCs?
we had one or two Veolia people come in. They were bothering us about optimizing the plant and shut down have less RBCs running so we can look great to you guys that we're saving you money. And we always have these people that come in and give us great suggestions. Some of them work well, and some of them are kind of, well, you should ask the people who run the plant before you suggest stuff. But
Okay, thank
it's
you.
just one of those things. So that's that. Like I said, we had it fixed today.
So
It should be back and running hopefully by the end of the week.
Dennis, on that on the table that's in the MOR, the E. coli
Yeah.
says NR for results, like not reported.
It's
Is that
out
for
of
December?
season.
What's that?
It's out of season. There's no results.
Yeah.
Oh, so there's still an item in the limit column, but that limit doesn't apply in winter.
No. Yeah. It's what, December, end of
No,
November till
October
April.
31st it ends, and
Yeah.
it restarts April 1st.
And you guys shut off the UV,
We keep it
system?
on.
Do you?
It's kind of an old system. I'm not really sure. We turn it off for too long if it's going to come back on properly.
Yeah, I just thought, like, when I heard TSSs that are that high, I thought that's gonna blind the UV system. It's not gonna have done anything.
Yeah,
I was
but
just
we're
looking
not
to see
doing it.
what the numbers
Yeah.
were, but if you don't record them, then it's fine.
Yeah. And I'm getting a couple quotes for some new bulbs too, so that we should have that optimized shortly. And then I'm gonna have that company we talked about. Well, the Trojan is gonna come in and try to spiffy up, change the modules and have the readouts fixed. And
Yeah.
hopefully we'll get that running top notch again.
I'll just say this really for Tom and Bob and Paul, that this, we lose one RBC out of how many?
10.
10.
1 out of 10 RBCs, the whole plant goes wonky with really high numbers, that if we were in the summer, we would be failing E. coli and phosphorus and everything else, because if you can't get the solids out, then everything goes with it. So it just highlights the fact that this plant can't handle the wastewater that we're putting into it.
No, and for like October, November, besides E. coli, the plant was running, I like to say perfectly, for the plant. We didn't have any problems, we didn't have any washouts, nothing. And this was the one change that happened that sent the whole thing crumbling down.
Yeah,
So
there's no robustness to the system.
yeah, it's very sensitive and basically it's maxed out, max loading. So
Yeah, that
Not to steal the topic here. I'm looking at the lab sheet and you have zeros across the board for metals. Is that just a data entry error?
probably, yeah. I
Because your copper is probably high this time of year. I always struggled with meeting copper in the really cold months.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I got the results, and I'm not sure if Amy got them and put them in or not.
That's fine. I was just asking.
Let's see. Moving on. In December, the wet well wizard at Hammond Street died. I pulled up one day and it was howling, and I wish I could have looked the other way, but the neighbor across the street, I'm sure, would have threw a rock at my truck as I drove away. So that needed a seal, put it back in, and I somehow we figured out that the impeller is a little bit bent on it, and it's hitting the housing. So we're gonna address that this week, and put it back together. Hopefully, we'll get that wet well wizard back working again. Um, they're very expensive for a very, very small little unit, so it's very simple, and I'm pretty sure we can figure that part out. We did some repiping of the ferric system that was getting aged, and I didn't trust it anymore. It was pretty small pennies just to repipe all the fittings and everything else there. I am going to likely replace those pumps. We don't really know the age of the ferric pumps. So we have two of them, and they don't make those anymore. And having a hard time finding parts for them. I only found one vendor that makes rebuild kits for them. So I'd like to just streamline everything. And Vinny had a good suggestion earlier, just to make all the pumps the same. So we can be redundant and just have a couple spares. You can use them anywhere in the plant. We'll just have the same peristaltic pumps anywhere. So you see that coming through at some point. What was the other thing we did here? North Sturbridge, we pulled up one day and the elbow on the discharge line blew off. So we had to have Slims come in, suck that dry pit out because it was full of water, and replace the elbow. That was pretty simple, quick stuff. Same thing. We had 6 loads, four caustic delivered. We had another upgrade, a full upgrade to a system on Sunset which was another exact same older type system that we don't service. So we had to upgrade that also. And then we had one call for floats that were stuck. We replaced one float and then another one that we had to replace the pump. The pump went bad. So we used up one pump in November and two pumps in December. And we talked about the RBC. And that's pretty much all I got for December. Like I said, it was a little more active than I'd like, but I'm glad we're taking care of the RBC issue, and it might answer some questions for our engineers. So I believe that's all I got. If you don't have any questions.
You're on mute, Eric.
What's the condition of the other 9 RBCs? Have they been recently?
1 and 2 of the originals.
Yeah.
I did the chain on 2. He just did the chain on 1. The next 6 in the building were 2000 models, and the 2 outside were 2010 models.
All with no repairs or work done on them since they went in service.
Nothing.
Now, when you say original 1 and 2, how old is that?
Paul might know better than me.
Well, that was before my time too. I came in 2007 and we added the 2 outside. But at the time when I first came in, we weren't running all of them. We were running like 3 or 4 RBCs. And then as time went by, of course, we added the others and now they're all being run. So
I'd assume somewhere in the late 90s. The rest area pump stations were built in 96. So I would assume that was when they did the first overhaul of the plant, and that's when they probably would have put in the RBCs.
So maybe 3 or 4 years older than the one that just failed.
1 and 2 are the oldest. One
Right.
is one that just failed.
Yeah, right, okay, yeah, so 3 or 4 years newer
Newer.
than the one that
Yeah.
just failed, yeah.
What's the life expectancy of an RBC?
I had reps from the who manufactured those in here, and they said average life expectancy is about 25 years.
Good
So-
time for a new plant.
We got a whole lot of them knocking on.
yeah,
And I'm friends with the manager of the Maynard facility, and her plant is basically the same thing as ours, configured a little bit different. And she's had a whole lot of failures over her RBCs in the past few years.
Okay.
So they're about the same age, doing the same kind of work. And yeah, she's had to get some really serious maintenance programs in place because of it. Like they
Okay.
weigh their RBCs regularly. Yeah, it's a big mess.
And who repaired number,
She had Interstate Wastewater repair them.
yeah, and who did ours in December or just now?
I had one of the contractors I worked with before is Healy and Associates. They're out of Belchertown.
But the big things we're really looking at is the media breaks off when it gets old and brittle. And as you know, they're 28 feet long. I can't imagine any easy way to get that media in and out of there. So it's going to be a big job when it does get to us, if it gets to us.
Yeah.
So now we just pretty much, I walk in the morning, I don't hear anything knocking. We're good for another day.
Yeah.
okay, if we're ready to move on, anybody got anything else for Dennis or Vinnie?
I don't.
If not, we'll move on to 241 Southbridge Street. Do
Thanks,
we have
guys.
anyone here from there, Cheryl, tonight?
No, Paul, they,
This should be on my list for 241 Sturbridge Road.
Okay,
So basically what I was looking for you guys to do is approve the privilege fee for their connection. So there's been a whole bunch of people trying to approve and make calculations, and I said nobody's approving it without the board getting involved because we're not gonna play around with these big accounts. So I did the calculations, and hold on, I got them over here somewhere. I got a bunch of spreadsheets open on my desk. So the drinking water privilege fee for 241 Sturbridge Road is $110,000, $122.20.
Say that again, Vinny?
$110,122.20. That's for the drinking water privilege fee. The calculation is based off of 45 EDUs. And I have it all in a spreadsheet with the math to show you guys if you want to see it.
Is this all warehouse, Vinny, or are there office spaces in there too, or what else we got in that building?
That was just a calculating based on figure of 15,000 gallons per day that they gave me. So they provided Peter a figure years ago, and I still have access to that. So I took that figure, and that's what these calculations are based on.
Yeah, we improve, but usually we take the square footage of the building times whatever the DEP suggests for that.
So we base it off of the Title V calculation.
Correct, yes.
So the engineer provided us the gallon per day breakdown, which is the next figure after the Title V calculation.
Okay,
So they gave us a figure of 15,000 gallons per day.
okay,
On the sewer side, the 15,000 gallons per day becomes 75 EDUs with $8,200 per EDU, gives us a grand total of $615,000 for the sewer privilege fee.
Could I have that one more time, Vinny?
615,000 even.
615,000. 615,000. That is a lot of money.
Yeah. So this customer helped pay for the Route 20 pump station.
Okay.
When we did the upgrade to that pump station, it was almost $500,000, and it was paid for between this customer and Amazon. The town took nothing out of their pocket for that one.
Vinny, is this industrial or commercial?
I would assume it would be considered commercial because it's going to be a warehouse facility.
Okay.
I believe Cheryl has pretty comprehensive plans of it she could share. We have a big map here in the office if you guys want to look at it when you come in to sign. It's right on the blueprint desk when you walk in the door.
Should be right on the top.
They already received permission from the commission to tie in?
Yes,
yes.
Yeah,
When
back
was that? That was,
2022.
22. Yeah, when Peter Boria was here. Yeah, this is the reason we got the pump station upgrade is they're gonna run a new sewer main down Route 20, and they have to pump to get over the hill at the rest area. And the pump station they're building can do like 7,500 gallons a day or something per pump, which was way more than our pump station could handle. So we made them double the size of our pumps. So that was the reason why we got them to upgrade our pump station, because they would have drowned us if they would have built what they wanted to.
Are they just
However-
connecting to that 90 manhole at the rest area? Are they just connecting to the last manhole?
Yes, they're just gonna connect to the last manhole. So it'll be a force main, and right there it'll dump into gravity. And it'll probably help flush out that dirty sewer main. So I made a response to the DEP about the O&M manual that me and Mr. Groton got to work on. And I asked them to give us the entire first quarter of this year to get that prepared for them. And they had no issues with that. The other items on my agenda is 35 North Main Street. I don't have a whole lot of current information. I have a packet that was emailed to me that I didn't get a chance to really pick apart yet, but they're looking to build 33 two-bedroom units in there. And there's a whole lot of privilege fee available there, but I know how you guys are feeling about approving big projects, so
Well, there's a
35 North
moratorium, right?
Main.
33.
33. Two-bedroom units.
They're appearing in front of the planning board tonight.
So we don't have to make a decision today, but you guys should be aware they're trying to get this through.
Is that the empty lot next to CVS? Where the fire station was going?
I think it's a little further down the road because the other ones were 25. So it's right after them as you headed to your pump station. There's L. Stevens Road.
Yeah.
Between there and the townhouses that were just built.
Okay.
It's
Dennis,
a big lot and they're going to develop quite a bit of it if they get approved.
Dennis, do you want a copy of the plans for that along with the rest of you? Would you like a copy of that? I have it in PDF.
Yes, please.
Okay.
What would be the flow at that one, Vinny? 33 times.
200.
It would be, well, you'd want to look at Title V, if I could. This is Chris. That would be it's 2 bedrooms. So you're talking about 66 bedrooms at, 110.
Yeah, so it's 7,000 gallons a day for a high number.
Yeah.
And that's going to feed into that North Main Street pump station. Which is our highest flowing station.
Can it handle it?
Dennis, what do you think?
No.
Okay.
What I would do with that one is I would have an evaluation done on the wet well, the pumps, and see if we have to upgrade it because it's aging, and I was standing in there and I had some questions if the floor was going to hold me or not. So it has it has normal life left to it if you weren't adding more. But I would look into getting that evaluated before I would say yes to that.
Well, we can't handle the flow anyway, right?
Not today.
No, we couldn't handle that down at the plant.
Well, we have a
unless they
moratorium.
discharge at night.
So, so I'm wondering is to what extent, if we decide to build a larger facility, can we take that into account when we're deciding what to approve? How long does it take to build the new developments versus the new facility in terms of timelines? Because if we approve it when it's going to take longer to build the new developments than our new facility, maybe we could just plan ahead in that sense.
That development they could probably do in a year and a half. A plant's probably 5 years.
All right, so check back sometime in 2029, mid 2029.
Yeah.
Give or take.
So then the next item on my list is 6 City Depot Road.
I'm sorry, which one?
6 City Depot. This is the big commercial building that tied into the water only. They were already sewer customers. And we missed a little bit of the privilege fee on the calculation. So we had recalculated it with Mr. Coleman involved, and he brought it to the town's lawyers to address to see if we could go back after that money. And I just kind of wanted to follow up and let guys know we didn't drop the ball on it. Mr. Coleman had taken over and gone further.
Well, they are sending out the bill for the additional funds.
Perfect.
So hopefully we get a check soon.
Yes, yes. And that concludes everything on my agenda for tonight.
Okay, anybody got more questions for Vinny?
Vinny, do we have a running list now of all these future flows that we've approved? Like the 241, and is there any way to know what we've already approved and what number we're up to for flow into the treatment plant?
So I have a list of sewer accounts. but I don't have it based off of flow yet, because that is so hard to actually do.
Right, but we know that like, one of the first things we did, well, one of the first things, you know, when I got on the commission was
We
like.
want to stop approving big commercial projects.
Well, no, but even the ones we did, like we approved the fire station.
Yep.
And I don't think we knew what that flow was. And then we learn in these meetings that previously somebody approved the 241 Sturbridge Road, that's 15,000 gallons per day. I'm wondering if we stop everything right now and all these people tie in that have
What's
already.
still rippling in?
Yeah, how high have we already committed ourselves? And I think I know the answer that list.
I
doesn't
don't know
exist.
any more big ones that are waiting for the next thing to drop.
Right, but do we have a list of the ones that you know about?
I think this 241 was the last one kind of hanging out there for a big one that was already approved.
But big and small, do we know?
No.
No, okay. I just was curious, like we are already at some number. And I don't know that we know what that number is yet. We could go back through the minutes, back to 2022.
Right.
And add those up and then call the fire station and say, do you know how much, you know, wastewater you need now, and kind of fill in the gaps to know how close we are. Like when this one on North Main Street comes in, I'd like to know whether we're already, you know, where we are already with what we've already committed.
Right, with the promised amounts. I
Yep.
got you.
Yep.
Again, it's kind of like the impossible question, isn't it? It's like all theoretical.
I
Because
don't
we
think it
never
is. I
see
mean,
Title V flows.
right, but I mean, it's a number that we're committed to,
Right.
right? And so if we've told 241 Sturbridge Road, you can discharge 15,000 gallons per day, I'd like to know that, you know, we can handle 15,000 gallons per day if we're
I
committed
think
to
we'd
it.
have to do a survey of every account and just see what the Title V numbers were if you wanted to say, you know, these are the flows that we're capable of taking from this place, and see where that matches up against what our plant is permitted for. I believe
Yeah.
that's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd have to do an audit of every account to really understand that number.
I think we know already what we're receiving based on everybody that's tied in.
Right, but that's not the Title V flows, because they most of the time don't generate a Title V flow.
I know, but if we're committing to a number, I think we have to like add it to the thing.
Right, I see.
Add it to, it's like a budget, you know?
Yeah, so we got 240,000 gallons today, and these guys have already been approved for 15,000 a day.
Right, yep.
Correct. Yeah, so
Add
now
that,
we're
add
245
that,
and yeah,
add the fire station, add the little ones that we've approved in the last 6 months and come up with a number. We think we've committed 86% of our clean water flow. Some number. We don't know that it's not.
it's logical and it does make sense to do.
If I could, they must have filled out a sewer connection permit application, Eric,
Right. And we have a
And-
record of all of them.
and they would have to sign off on them, right? Correct. So you have you should have
We do an
those.
annual connection report too.
Right. So I don't think it's that, and I've been reviewing most of those connections on behalf of the commission. So you had the one in Old Worcester Road recently. The fire station I didn't take a look at, but 241 Sturbridge Road, we reviewed that back in 2022. Other than homes that actually had sewer laterals on that might have connected to, Vinny, that would be pretty much all that we know about, or that have come in front of the commission at this time.
Yeah, I just was hoping to have a tally of the promises that we've already made before we continue to make more promises. Is
Sure.
all I'm
Yeah,
looking for. And I'm not
there
asking
has
you to do
been-
it. I was really just asking whether or not it already existed.
There is nothing like that exists, other than the connection report that doesn't tally it.
Yep, okay.
Okay, hey, so Vinny, you said that you can't go by the Title V promise. Are the Title V's typically more or less
they're typically more than what you get from that building.
Oof.
So if they say Title V is 15,000, you're probably going to see 11 or 12. Some days you will see 15, but the average is typically lower.
Okay, thank you.
In some households, it's higher, but when you get into the bigger commercial projects, it's typically a little lower.
Okay.
Okay, have we exhausted this? Are there any more to say on it before we move on to the budget?
Do we need to make a motion on those figures that Vinnie gave us for the privilege fees?
So we were looking for the approval of the figures for 241. If you guys want to see it in paper, I can have it here tomorrow morning for you printed.
So
When is it due, Vinny?
I told them I would bring it to the meeting. They've been looking for it for a couple of weeks.
Yep.
But honestly, this thing's a couple of years down the road. So if they have to wait another month, it's probably not the end of the world.
Well, I think we're gonna talk tonight about that rate study.
Great.
What if 8 or 10 weeks from now, the rate guy comes back and says that the tie-in fee should be X
Right.
instead of,
So
What is that?
this address has this on paper when they was seeking approval the first time.
okay,
So they
Okay.
budgeted for right around these numbers I have. My numbers are a little skewed from what they have, but they're pretty close.
So do we put them off for a couple months and wait for the rate study to come back to see what our rates go up?
Vinny thinks he's grandfathered, I think.
Okay.
I
Oh,
mean, you
okay.
guys are the commission. It's your choice. I'm just stating what I know. I know that they were given all these figures by the superintendent who was in this position in the past. They're looking to fulfill their end of it now. They've already been doing build out. They budgeted for it. I think it would be unfair to say we did a study after you asked for permission and
Oh, I get it.
realized we missed $500,000. That might be unfair. But if like this 33 2-bedroom unit, if they were looking for permission and we didn't give it and we did a rate study and then we came back and told them, yeah, you know what, we will give you permission, but it's going to be 3 times
Big.
more than what it was last month, then that would be a different story.
Okay. And so Vinny, you did the numbers. Is there a way to double check them, or that's what we're going with?
I can print out what Peter calculated. I can show you my breakdowns of how I got to my calculations. And then you guys use your best judgment to say if I'm right or not. I mean, I do have backup for how I got to my calculations.
Okay.
I have the sheets on how to calculate them. There's no secrets. It's all kind of out there.
Tom, you were involved in the fee for that 6 City Depot Road?
I was not involved with the original fee. I was involved with the recalculation.
Right, but was Tom involved with the recalculation and things?
I took Vinny's calculations.
Yep. Are you willing to look at this one and give it a once over before we vote?
Oh, I mean, sure. I mean, I'm no expert. I'm new at this, but
I can print
You're
out
now
the-
our expert.
So I can print out the guides for you guys on how I calculated them. And I can print out my calculations with all the breakdowns of every line item and how I came to my totals. So it's really transparent.
okay.
Again, I think it should all be out there. Like the customer should be able to calculate it themselves and know what they're going to look.
Right.
It's a lot of money. It's probably worth a second set of eyes
Oh,
on
Yeah,
it.
just so
definitely.
there's not something missing. But yeah, I would appreciate it. So we can give them a vote next month for the fee.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll let them know that, we want to be in agreement on the figures before we pass them through.
Okay. Thank you.
Not a big deal.
If I could, just one more thing. Typically, the commission would issue a letter that details that connection fee to those folks as well.
Yeah, that's what I have from Peter Boria.
You do? Okay, great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, before the rate study, we want to talk about the budget.
Sure.
So nobody wants to talk about the budget.
Vinny, do you want to bring up the Veolia part again? Because that's one major thing that's going to be changing. Did Vinny hear me?
What's that?
I said there's one, do you want to bring up the Veolia again?
Yeah,
Because that's a major issue for their line item in the budget.
It's not really a major item. We calculated their increase at 3.74, and we just need to adjust that. Actually, that was last year's.
Was this adjustment the $2,200 figure you had given us?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, we calculated their adjustment at 3.5%. We didn't have it in paper yet. And then the adjustment came through at 3.9%. But then I found the discrepancy of all their invoices saying 4.21%. So we need to get their actual increase on an invoice corrected.
So if we make a motion for $2,200 to Veolia, they'll be happy and we'll probably be happy.
Well, the only reason I have an issue is because they told us it's one thing, but they calculated something else.
I know, but we're
If
trying
they
to
could show me
solve
how to calculate a work to get there, I would support that 100%. I mean, I don't think the $2,200 is a major thing when they're billing $830,000 a year. You know, it's not even 1%, but it's still it's a discrepancy.
Vinny, you
I
want
agree.
to get together tomorrow and maybe set up a call with at least Donna so she can explain it to you, the
Definitely.
customer?
Definitely.
Because-
And I'll
yeah.
show her where I got my calculations.
Because it should be pretty straightforward and it should be
is.
black and white. We shouldn't have to talk about like why is the discrepancy. Like I'm in agreement that it should be just straight up.
Right.
So-
I mean, the only thing that's funny about the way the contract reads is there's no increase on the maintenance fund. But even still, with that out of there, it still doesn't calculate right.
Yeah.
So,
Vinny, will that affect the lab cost also?
no, lab cost is a straight pass through.
Okay.
So Veolia doesn't make any profit on that. The lab charges Veolia for the services for the MTAs, and Veolia takes them bills and sends them right back to the town to pay straight across. They don't make any profit on it.
Okay.
So can we make some sort of a motion on the budget?
So Cheryl and I went through most of the budget. We increased based off of the CPI index. We added about 3.5% to most of the line items. And she attached it, so you guys all have a copy. I'd say it's all pretty consistent. If you guys want to go through it, anything on here before we give it to finance, we can walk through it.
Is the rate study in here?
No.
No, we're
That's
getting
not
it
a
in
line
April.
item that would fall on the budget. That would go to like a capital or just an expenditure.
And when is the rate study going to be this fiscal year that we're in or 2027?
So most of the budgetary items are things that reoccur month to month. That's what we're looking to capture in it. And we do carry some extra money for unforeseen items.
We added to training. So Vinny and I can go to training.
So if we voted tonight to move forward with that rate study.
Again, the rate study would just be a capital request. We have the money in the account.
Yeah, we approved the 18,000.
Oh yeah, that was actually approved at the last meeting, wasn't it?
Yeah, we approved that already
Yeah.
for the rate study.
We did?
$18,000. I
Yeah.
think last month.
Yeah.
I could look back.
Yeah, I don't think we knew about it last month. I think we just get the budget.
Yeah, but the rate study wasn't part of the budget.
No, I mean, didn't we just get the proposal for the rate study?
Oh,
Oh, we don't have that yet, right? They're working on it, but we approved $18,000 for the rate study. They said it will be here by April 30th, I believe. We'll have the rate study results. So
Oh, yeah, I didn't hear that. I didn't know that.
I saw it somewhere in something I was reading.
Yeah, so included in our last meeting was December 3rd, right?
Yep.
On December 12th,
right, we got the email.
the consultant sent us their proposal to do it and stated that their proposal was $18,000 to do that work.
You're
And
correct.
I think it's our obligation tonight or to discuss whether or not we approve of that $18,000 budget and ask the rate consultant to move forward with it.
Okay.
And my question is, if we do that, is there a place for Cheryl to pull that money and pay them? Because the work will be done by April of this year, so it will be in this fiscal budget, not the
Right.
one we're talking about. So,
And Cheryl, is
So
that a capital expense?
So we have a various maintenance items budget of 347,000. It could come from that account.
that's not already close to being overdrawn.
Yes, that is. I think we have 193,000 left.
Okay,
Is that including the 18,000 or not
No,
including the?
not including. So we could probably get it out of that account.
and separate question on the budget, where does the sludge disposal fee, which item is that in this budget?
That's in the Veolia contract. If you see the Veolia invoices, it breaks down. They have a maintenance limit every month that they're allowed to spend. They have a chemical limit every month and a sludge limit. And at the end of the fiscal year for Veolia, there's what's known as a true up. And their contract gives them 30 days to true up all those accounts. Never really happens. Big corporation takes forever. We'll see our true up in about June or July.
So a true up means that if they spend more than was in their budget, we
We
increase,
owe them.
we owe them.
Yep. If they
So
spend
there's-
less, they give us a credit.
Yeah, so there's not an incentive in the contract agreement we have with Veolia to reduce the amount of sludge that they send to the Veolia disposal site.
No, and actually they missed it. When Veolia proposed this, they said this facility can operate on 80 loads annually. And at the time of the proposal, I was hauling 100 loads annually. So they tried shortening it by 20 loads annually, which really is tough to do. I could never make it work. But the offset is they don't use all the chemicals. So there's always chemical money left over that covers the sludge. It's
Okay.
pretty close every year. It'll be a couple $1,000s either way.
Mhm.
But it's normally pretty close.
Okay, so do we need to vote on this budget tonight? Is that the expectation?
Yes, we should vote on, well, you guys should vote on the budget tonight so we can send it to Ashley for final look over. Ashley's already seen it, but it needs to be in her hands saying you guys approved it.
What are the issues that we might have a problem with the budget? Are there any problems that we trying to?
Tomorrow morning, me and Cheryl are gonna have to adjust the Veolia money up a little bit.
Mhm.
But we're just gonna buffer it up to that 4.21%, which will cover us no matter what they say. Again, carrying an extra $2,500 in the Veolia account, I'm sure it's gonna get spent.
Okay.
Which number, that's the 982,
Yes.
Yes.
982, 281, 66?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so that was based on 3.5% increase. So we'll just do a 4.21 it'll be about a $3,000 difference. So it'll be 985 and change.
Yep. Well, I'll make a motion to approve the budget as is, with the exception of increasing the Veolia North America annual contract by $3,000.
I'll second.
More discussion on it. Hearing none, Cheryl, you may take a vote.
Mr. Gagner,
Aye,
Mr. Groton,
Aye.
Mr. Thomas Coleman,
Aye.
Mr. Robert Coleman.
Aye.
okay, where are we next? Are we up to, Vinnie's waste capital improvement
Oh,
updates?
the rate study.
I think we're on the water budget.
Oh, yes. You're right.
A long night. I was already packing up. I don't know anything about the water budget. Cheryl's gonna take you through it. No, there wasn't many changes to be made on the water budget.
No, I believe we went up higher, on the engineering expenses. We went up $5,000 for that.
Yep.
We also went up for the legal expenses. We went up another 5. For training, we went up another 1,000. And that, I believe, is it.
And I'll ask a dumb question. If somehow you're offsetting these budget increases with revenue increases?
Yeah, that's all the stuff we approved.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, the various maintenance too, we also went up. But that we figured it was all for the future projects and to cover it, all the, the expenses that we may incur.
But in both cases, in the sewer case and in the water case, we've got revenues that exceed the expenses that we're talking about.
So the sewer typically carries over 600,000 extra annually.
Okay. And does the sewer help pay for the water,
I honestly don't know.
or water covers itself? Like, are we an enterprise combined?
So,
enterprise?
I know the town of Southbridge typically gives a check back for the water service.
Yes.
So people pay their water bills to Southbridge, and at the end of the year, they typically have a check to give back, and I don't know what the figure is on that check.
Mhm.
It's one check per year and it's not that high. And, just let it be known that when this deal with Southbridge was made, all the selectmen voted on it and all the water sewer commissioners voted on it, except me. I want it to be known that I think it was not a good deal with Southbridge. It favored them totally. And I just want to be on record so you'll know that. But we don't have much money coming in. We do get that one annual check, and it depends on what these other expenses were that you've added. Was it $50,000-$60,000? It was not a high price.
So
You might have
one or
that.
two main breaks, and that's gone.
Yep. And they're collecting all the money for the water, and we're responsible for repairs.
Yeah, so how do we bridge the gap between $114,000 spent and $50,000 received?
Rate study.
But in the past, like, we
Oh.
haven't done it, like, how is it gonna be done for this fiscal year?
So if the money's not used from that check, then it can go into retained earnings.
But it sounds like that check is we're receiving less than we're making.
No, because that budget doesn't get fully used every year.
It doesn't? Okay.
Yeah.
It's weird.
So the 50,000 we're carrying is in case of emergency. I've only seen 2 water main breaks since I've been here. And those were back when Peter was here, and they were one after the other.
We're like, I mean, I'm a new commissioner. I'm
Mhm.
being asked to approve a budget where we're spending money and we have not talked about how much money we're making, right?
Right. You're 100% right.
So I just, it's weird, it's strange, like, why don't we crank this thing up to $300,000 because,
So the water account has a lot in stabilization. So stabilization is the long-term savings account,
Yeah,
and I want to say it's around $3 million in that account for the water. So we could mismanage this for quite a few years without getting caught with our pants down. Not to say we should, but
so
no,
Cheryl, is
you're
it,
asking all the right questions too, because
Cheryl, can you, pull together, and I know you can't do it now, but like for next month, can you tell us what the revenues have been for the last 4 or 6 quarters or something like that?
Yep.
we don't see the revenues.
Okay, so
Southbridge bills it.
the only revenue we make is from Southbridge's
Yes, once a
once a
year
year check?
And Eric, I can do that for you tomorrow, is get you the amount of the checks.
Yep,
And that way you'll know how much those are. I want to say the last one might have been 190,000.
oh, okay,
Yeah,
It's
they're
not
not,
back?
they're not little checks.
Okay,
yeah, well, as long as they're greater than 114,800.
Yeah,
then-
I want to say that, but I do have them in my computer at work, at the
Okay.
office.
Yeah, I was just
So I'll
curious.
get those for you.
Yeah, thank you.
could you also, how long is our contract with Southbridge?
Oof.
There is no
Well-
end date, is there?
It-
I
it-
don't
yeah,
think there's
it's-
any end date to that.
No end date.
There is it's an
we-
intermunicipal agreement that
I-
lasts until we say we're out, or they say we're out.
So
I
we
have a
can't renegotiate anything?
I have a copy of it I can send to you, Tom.
Thank you.
Yep.
Paul, what was so bad about it?
But what, the deal?
Yeah,
Oh, well, because, Southbridge owned all the pipes, but we were responsible for repairing them. And they
in
collected
Charlton,
all the
they
money,
own the
yeah.
pipes in Charlton?
We wanted to put in at the pump station where, Snake Hill Road and stuff is there at that pump station. We were gonna have them pump it, we were gonna buy it from them from there on in and charge the customers ourselves for it. But they would not discount the water at all at that point. Most towns, when somebody's buying it, they more or less wholesale it to the adjoining
Right.
town. But they
Okay.
wouldn't give it all. And I didn't think that was quite good. In the meantime, since maybe the figures have gone up a lot more than I thought because of the work that Mobile Exxon did. There was like 5 or 6 miles of houses there they put on, for which I think Southbridge collected a $1,900 connection fee to all of them that we would have gotten. But nobody on the board wanted, except for me, I guess, wanted to take the responsibility of having to do the billing and the maintenance and stuff like that. So that's kind of where it happened. So it just, time went by and we ended up just buying it for
actually-
Southbridge for the same price we had paid before.
We actually do collect a privilege fee for drinking water along with Southbridge.
I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, so if somebody wants to tie into the system, they pay Southbridge a privilege fee along with us. That's why when I gave you guys the figures earlier, I have a drinking water privilege fee along with the sewer one.
But for all the houses that ExxonMobil tied in, I don't recall that we got any privilege free from.
I don't know about those ones, but currently
No, I know currently, yes, but
we're getting $2,447.16 per EDU.
wow.
Yeah, so
That's what's Southbridge getting? I thought they were just getting $1,900 or something.
I
per
actually
house.
think they get a little bit less than we do.
Yeah, 1,900 probably then, so.
Yeah, so we do get a little money when they tie in, but there's no quarterly collection on all these.
And that's a one-shot deal, of course. so.
Right.
You up next, Vinnie, with the wastewater capital improvements?
Paul, we need a motion to approve the water.
Oh, yeah.
Eric, you muted.
Yep, I'll make a motion to approve the water budget for $114,800 as presented.
I'll second.
Any more discussion? Hearing none, take a vote, please, Cheryl.
Mr. Gagner,
Aye.
Mr. Groton,
Aye.
Mr. Thomas Coleman,
Aye.
Mr. Robert Coleman.
Aye.
Okay, now you're up, Vinnie, for the capital improvement discussion.
Yeah, the
Update.
study. It's the study.
Oh, we miss eight, yeah, each study.
It's the rate study now.
I'll make a motion to authorize Mark Abrams to proceed with the rate study
I
as
second that.
proposed on December 12th.
I second that motion.
Any discussion? This is for the 18,000 we're talking about now? Okay.
Yep.
Well, Cheryl, take another vote.
Mr. Gagner,
Aye.
Mr. Groton,
Aye.
Mr. Thomas Coleman,
Aye.
Mr. Robert Coleman.
Aye.
No, Vinnie.
No, Vinnie, it's the wastewater capital improvements. If there's any more discussions with Chris. And then we have the beta.
If there's none, we can move on to Chris McClure and Beta, for the blue tank. Is Chris still with us?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay.
That. So, as you know, there's been some discussion regarding activating that blue tank, the 750,000 gallon tank that's adjacent to my office building up here. Beta has done some, at the request of Southbridge Water Department, they've done some studies and models as to what the effects that tank coming online, the PRV would have to be taken out of commission. That's which was in front of the former City Power. One of the main concerns relative to that is that PRV right now is reducing pressures down in Charlton City. So part of the review was, if that tank were to come online, what are they going to be the overall effects? Ideally, one of the issues that we've had is turnover and pressure issues. So having that tank come online is going to improve those. What needs to happen in order for that tank to come online? One, there's always been issues with the disinfection residual and stagnation in the Charlton water system. So Charlton, Southbridge is requiring what would be a disinfection augmentation that would need to happen at that tank with the upgrade to a mixer as well. So given that they're chloramines, that's going to be a pretty substantial undertaking because you're basically generating. It's not like you're just pumping chlorine into your water system. You have to generate the chloramines. So that would require a full-blown building, plumbing, chemical controls, kind of probably about the size that we see down on 169, right at the bottom of Berry Corner Road. So it would be the addition of that. We would need to get approval from the state. I have made some initial discussions with the state. They initially said, "Hey, you guys are you'd be the only community in the state that's doing this." But since then, I've been able to find a community of Belmont that augments they get their water from MWRA, and due to their distance from the MWRA, they have to augment the disinfection process as well. So we need to get buy-in from the state in order, and permitting, obviously, if that's the direction that the commission wants to go. That, and again, talking about the PRVs and it would improve pressures up in the school loop area, but it would create pressure issues down in the Charlton City area. And there's some areas that would be over 120, 130 PSI. So they provided a heat map for us, which basically is a map that shows the pressures throughout the water distribution system. And I will share those so that the commission can take a look at those. We can probably discuss it at the next meeting. And if you were to make those adjustments, like take the PRV out of commission, you'd have to make these improvements. You couldn't increase people's internal pressures to their buildings at, to 140 psi. Plumbing modifications would need to be made, and I don't think you could burden the water customers with that, because it's an improvement that you're implementing to improve the water system. I haven't gotten a total number on those, but if you're talking about internal plumbing modifications, and those are all gonna add up. So we're looking at probably a monetary investment of somewhere between $1 and $1.5 million in order to get that tank on. I'd suggest just the chemical augmentation alone is going to be the building. To build a building with this chemical augmentation, we're probably at $500,000 right there. And I'm still getting some pricing from some of the vendors, so I can nail this down for you folks before you make, before we move forward. But again, then taking the number of houses that need their plumbing modifications and assuming, $15,000 worth of plumbing costs for each one of those, it adds up. So I'm trying to first and foremost ensure that the state would approve this augmentation. We know that it's going to be a requirement from Southbridge. If you want that tank online, they said you need to augment disinfection. That would also, going where we're talking about the IMA, that would also, require them probably to revisit that the IMA, because currently they're only checking that one pump station at 169 on a daily basis. And that's really with the exception of the infrastructure at the Hammond Hill Road water tank. That's the only real infrastructure you have in town. I mean, I know they'll drive around the distribution system, but this would require a daily visit, as well as tying your system into their SCADA system. So it's a pretty substantial investment. But what's been discussed from master planning perspective is, it is something that's always been on the books that it's needed, potential for fire protection and increase in flows, and the flows are increasing in town, as you see that 15,000 here and 10,000 here. Amazon didn't really need the Amazon in this 241 Worcester Road. They're not relying. They both had to put their own water storage tanks on for fire protection. So they haven't had to rely on the system for water, but eventually that tank was intended to come online. So that's kind of where we're at.
The blue tank has never been online.
It was on, Tom. It was online for a short period of time when the system, when the school loop first came on. We put a mixer in, we put it online, but the stagnation in the water system, the disinfectant residual was so low, and that was about when we were doing about 125 to 150,000 gallons per day. So it created more problems than it solved. And then so the Southbridge Water Department said you have to take it off. So we drained it and took it offline. Now we're up to twice that volume of water on a daily basis. And so again, and with the inclusion of the rechlorination or the hyperchlorination, then then that they would sustain that, that tank coming online and facilitating water turnover.
So stagnation wouldn't be a problem with the increase in flow?
No, with the increase in storage, and that's what the beta model has shown, that the stagnation, the turnover, what they call the turnover, it would be within the acceptable range. And but also right now in the summer, you've probably heard that there are some periods of time where they have to blow off water, because basically they're not maintaining what they feel is a safe minimum residual. Chloramines are not as strong a disinfectant as chlorine, so they like to maintain at least 1.0 part per million of chloramines in the disinfectant residual in the water. And if they don't see that, which we don't see it down at the far corner of the Heritage School, basically is where that is where we kind of lose that. They're running water to waste down in that area, blowing it off. Now, if they were to re-augment the disinfection residual up on the hill, then they feel that they wouldn't have to do that. The disinfectant residual would be more stable.
We've got to add chlorine and ammonia at that new station.
Yeah, because they use chloramines. Then we have to.
I did when MWRA was drilling their new tunnel.
Yes.
And all the towns were taking water. We built 6 temporary chloramination stations for them.
Okay. Yeah.
That is really hard to control the ammonia feed to get the right chlorine to ammonia ratio. I don't envy you the design on that.
Well, there are 2 since that time, and maybe we had 2 vendors that we've spoken to, and they've tried to automate it, but you have more experience than anyone on that, so you're probably right. They sell me a good story, and then there would be some that dialing that in is difficult, I guess.
Yeah, and just the hazards of dealing with ammonia is ugly. We talked a few meetings ago about getting together with you and talking about the other issues and this and other issues at the thing. Did that ever happen?
No, it didn't. And I think it's holidays or what. I had some issues come up, but I would obviously I'd obviously would like that to happen just so we can go down that laundry list and see.
What's the timing on the blue tank thing? Is that really just on us because it's a problem that we're trying to solve?
It is. Southbridge would like to see it. I mean, I don't know why at that point in time, again, no one really likes to blow off water. So, that's kind of the ugly, the elephant in the corner, but they just want to ensure that it's being, ideally Steve Gregoire is the water operator. So he's responsible to the last free flowing tap, which means the last faucet. It means the faucet's down at the Heritage School. So he'd like to be able to say that, something's happening in order to keep this, the water fresher, I guess, or the disinfectant residual.
Yeah.
There's been no one.
Go ahead.
Oh, the state hasn't, dictated that, the town needs to do something about it. And there were some issues initially with the pump station at the Bay Path High School and also Masonic, but those have been resolved through modifications and adjustments to the VFD system and the SCADAs on that side of things. So sorry about that, Tom.
Yeah, Chris, so there's no way to tamper down the pressure that would be going to the pressure increase down at Charlton City in the main pipe rather than every individual residence?
No, I mean it would do it. And one of the issues also that's happened within the water system, and I don't know if you heard it with transit pressure fluctuations, transients in the pressure, and they feel that PRV is a big contributor to that. So the pressure in the water system will go, at any given time from 60 to 90, within seconds, and they feel that the pressure, the pressure reducing valve that's in front of City Power is fluctuating a lot. So so the only way you want to remove any of those restrictions, anything that could potentially put pressure restrictions in the system, and then address the pressures at each individual connection with a pressure reducing valve, an internal pressure reducing valve.
Okay, thank you.
No vote needed.
No, no vote
This is
needed.
just an update.
Just again, try to, yeah, just wanted to keep this, keep the discussion, going relative to that and.
Chris,
Yeah.
the theory on turning over that tank, is it all just gonna be done through mixing? Or are they gonna program the pump station to actually have turnover points?
Well, that tank only gives us 10 additional feet of, so 10 additional feet of.
Okay, so it would be draining empty if we turned it over.
It would, yeah, it would never.
Gotcha.
No, we only going to get. We have to maintain. You know, we're going to change over 10 feet every day. You know, so having a mixer in that tank is imperative.
What's the operating height gonna be if they remove the PRV? Do you know?
Yeah, I'll send over that. I'll send over the heat map. It's very interesting where you'll see the. We already know that at the bottom of Mugget Hill, down by your pump station, your sewer pump station there, those pressures are all the way up over 120 when the system went in. They all have pressure reducing valves,
Right.
so you're going to see hot spots there, but those we don't need to worry about.
Yeah, they've already had the plumbing infrastructure in place.
Exactly. It's Charlton City really. That's
Yeah.
that it's the customers down in Charlton City that are really going to see it.
So on the stagnant water, there's no way to like externally just empty it out to get more fresh water in there, or is that illegal?
The difficulty, Tom, is that the Mass Ave tank, which is the one that the Route 169 pump station runs off, sucks off of, is 7 miles from it's 2 million gallon tank, and it's 7 miles from the treatment plant. So it's basically before it even comes through into Charlton. It's the water's already been sitting for 7 days hypothetically,
Okay.
right? And so then we get it up into here, and it's another 7 days. So we're at 14 days, which Eric can attest to. It's like that's, you know, with in the winter it's not bad because the chloramine's really disinfectant residuals hang out pretty good, but in the summers is when they fall off, you know. So. And right now, the way that the water is configured is all of our water goes to Hammond Hill, which is on the far end of the water system, right? It's a big long straw that's being fed over by 6W there. This will kind of, you know, put a more centralized location for the water, the source water to come to. So that hypothetically is going to reduce the time, you know, that people see this water, you know.
Okay.
Okay, anybody got anything more for Chris? If not, Vinny, you're gonna give us monthly updates and that'll conclude tonight's meeting probably.
There was no monthly updates other than everything we've kind of already covered.
Yeah.
Yeah, I worked with Cheryl on the budget. I've calculated out quite a few different surcharges and privilege fees for customers that we haven't provided yet. And yeah, just basic stuff like that. With the holidays, there wasn't a ton of office time every day. So yeah, not much to report.
Okay, anybody got anything else for tonight before we close up?
Yes, I will be on vacation from January 20th till the 23rd. I'll be back in the office on January 26th.
Where you going? Anywhere?
No, actually. Maybe a bunch of little trips this time, but
All
no,
right,
the big
then
trip's in
maybe-
February.
Maybe we can get a motion to adjourn then.
Can we talk about who's going down? Tom and Rob, you going down tomorrow?
Yeah,
Sure.
Bob is 8
Yeah.
o'clock good?
Yes.
8 o'clock.
Okay, I'll come by after.
Okay.
Okay.
I have everything printed out for you guys to take a look at and make sure we all agree.
Is that a good time, Vinny? 8,
Yeah, that's fine.
Cheryl?
Yes.
All right, we'll see you at 8. I adjourn, motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second,
Second, any discussion?
Thanks, everyone.
Cheryl, go ahead.
Okay, Mr. Gagner,
Aye.
Mr. Groton.
Aye.
Mr. Thomas Coleman,
Aye.
Mr. Robert Coleman.
Aye.
All right. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Dennis.
Yeah.
You're
Thank
welcome.
everybody. Good
Good
night.
night.
Thank you, and have a
night.
great night.
You too.
I'll probably come in Friday, Cheryl, to make sure we don't run into other people. So
Okay, all right, that's fine,
No.
Paul.
you're around Friday.
Yes,
Okay.
all right.